Hello, welcome back to another video on Jyotisha. Parivarthana Yoga. That is the topic of this video. The term Parivarthana means exchange. So what is exchange? The planets exchanging signs. That is Parivarthana Yoga. As in everything, there is the good and the bad side of Parivarthana Yoga. But normally people refer to Parivarthana Yoga as a positive yoga. In case you want to look at a horoscope which is known for Parivarthana Yoga, then it is the horoscope of Indira Gandhi, ex-Prime Minister of India. In a horoscope you find 3 sets of Parivarthana. So let's do an example to understand what is Parivarthana. So here you find that the ascendant is Mesha or Aries. So let's number the houses so it's easy for you to understand. Now let's introduce one graha in the chart, which is Jupiter. Now Jupiter here is in its own sign. Throughout this video I'll be referring to the Rashi chart because I'm going to deal in this video the Parivarthana which is called Rashi Parivarthana, the sign Parivarthana, and not the Bhava Parivarthana. That would be dealt with in a different video. So here Jupiter is in the 9th, and this is good because Jupiter in his own sign in the 9th is very good. Now let's introduce another graha, the Sun, in the 5th. In this example, the Sun as the 5th Lord is occupying his own sign, and Jupiter as the 9th Lord occupies his own sign. It's very good actually. But better than this is Jupiter being here and the Sun being here. Now what's happened is Jupiter is in the sign of the Sun and the Sun is in the sign of Jupiter. This is Parivarthana Yoga. Now what does Parivarthana Yoga actually mean? In my direct classes I used to tell my students Parivarthana Yoga is simple. You scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. This is a famous idiom. In English, it goes to say that what I cannot do myself, I will do it for you. And so you give me back that favor. Now let's understand why is it better to have this kind of yoga than Jupiter having been in the 9th sign or the Sun being in the 5th sign. The Parivarthanas between good planets, at least friendly to each other, and owning good houses is considered auspicious. For example, let's say there are 2 properties. I'm talking about homes and not astrology houses. There are 2 homes and the owners of the house, they have exchanged, meaning that I am now living in my friend's home and he is living in my home. If you look at it logically, I'll be more concerned about my friend's home than I would have been for my own house. I'll always tell, look, this is my friend's house, so please keep it tidy. Don't spoil this house. I'll tell my children, don't draw anything on the wall. In my house it's okay, but not in my friend's house. So the same way, my friend also will be saying the same thing in my house. He will tell his wife and children not to spoil the house, maintain the house, keep it tidy, because this is my friend's house. This is the easiest way to explain what is the good that can happen if 2 friends exchange their houses. Now let's do another example so you'll understand what happens if the exchange happens between enemies. So let's put back Jupiter and the Sun, and let me introduce Mars in the sign of Mercury. Mars is red and Mercury is green, and therefore Mars is really an afflicting graha in this particular sign. It really bothers this house. And let's introduce Mercury, its arch rival, in the sign of Mars. The lords are written outside the chart. You can see here Mercury. So Mars is in the sign of Mercury and Mercury is in the sign of Mars. This is also a Parivarthana Yoga. Now if most people have been always saying that Parivarthana Yogas are good, but it is not. Here is this. Here is an example. Now, to what can we compare this? I'll go back to the same example. I'm no more in my friend's house. I'm occupying the house of my enemy, and he's occupying mine. So, what I do is, I assume that my enemy should be already bringing my house down, and because of that, I will be more eager to do the same before he does that to my house. So I'll damage his house and he'll damage my house. That's exactly what happens in this kind of a Parivarthana Yoga. Now let's shift the Lagna and then read the same chart. Now this is an example where the ascendant is Mithuna or Gemini, and let me number the houses. Now Mars is in the 4th house. The 4th house is the house of mother, comforts. Now in this topic, let's deal with the mother. And Mars in the 4th, almost all the classical books tell that Mars in the 4th is not good as far as mother, home comforts, the comforts of vehicles, all that. It's not good if you have Mars in the 4th house, especially if Mars is in a sign where he hates to be in. For example, this one. So now you read the chart again. The 4th lord, the planet owning the 4th, has gone to the 6th house, the house of enemies. People who have this type of combination, most probably they have lots of problems with their mother. If you ask them, they'll say, one of my main enemies in my life is my mother. I don't want to go back to my motherland. I don't want to go back to the place I was born. I hate that place. All these kind of comments would come if there is a parivartana between the 4th and the 6th house, as in this case at least. I've seen many horoscopes having this combination, and they always said the same thing. If there is one person who is my enemy in my life, then it is surely my mother. The same person would have had a tough time while in school because the 4th house is related to school. They'll also have a tough time with vehicles because now and then the vehicle is likely to be involved in an accident. All this is possible. So what I would like to tell you is that Parivartana does not simply mean good. We have come to the end of this video. In case you have any doubts, please type them out in the comment section, and whenever I find the time, I'll answer them for you. And see you soon in my next video.